Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Prenton preview.
One this time. McCallum! Yeah! 1-0 to Tranmere! Oh my word! Vale! They've got a ball! Colin Jennings, James Norwood! James Norwood has scored it! Breeze with the cross, the header, it's in! It's Colin Jennings!
Coming up on today's episode, we have the opposition view as I speak to a Port Vale fan. We go behind the scenes to Tuesday night's game at Oldham. We take a look at the campus as we see how the lads are preparing for Saturday's game. We have a Q&A with Manny Dizarue. And we get some pre-match thoughts from Mickey and Josh Dakers-Cogley. On Saturday, we're on the road travelling to Port Vale for our first away game of the season. I caught up with Johnny from the Ale and the Vale podcast to see his thoughts before the game. So we're joined today with Johnny from the Ale and the Vale podcast, and he's agreed to come on as our Port Vale fan, and hopefully he's going to be able to answer some questions for us about the game on Saturday. That's all right with you, Johnny?
Yeah, that sounds good to me, mate.
Amazing. Well, I thought it's still quite early on in the season, so before we look ahead to Saturday, I thought I could ask you just a few questions about how you're feeling about the season. What are your predictions, sort of thing?
It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. We've signed 15 new players, and we're still after a couple. We've released quite a few players from the back end of last season who some argue should have stayed, some are happy to see the back of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of them seasons where you look at it and think, well, 15 new people through the door, can you actually get them to gel quickly enough to do something, or are we looking to stabilise in a mid-table finish? So the heart says, I want to win the league. The head says we're probably going to be there or thereabouts around the playoffs, but I wouldn't be expecting too much.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in quite a similar position where we've brought in quite a few new players as well. So it's always interesting to see in them first few weeks, how long is it going to take for players to gel? I mean, sometimes they might just get off to like a flying start and it's all good, but you know, it can sometimes take a bit of a while. But yeah, I agree. In terms of like from our side of it, we're in quite a similar position. So in terms of the league, so the top three, do you have a prediction how that might look?
So let me just see if I can find it.
No worries.
We've done a prediction league through our podcast already.
Oh yeah.
My top three were Bristol, Salford, and Newport. I had Tranmere finishing fifth.
Tranmere finishing fifth.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, let's look ahead to Saturday then. This will be your first home game back, if I'm right, since the COVID restrictions have eased.
First League One, we were at home last night to Sunderland.
Yeah.
So
what's that like? Are you excited to get back into the stadium to see a league game it must be exciting. Like we played on Saturday here and it was bouncing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about the last 12 months, but the one thing that you can't replace is the noise and the atmosphere that the fans can make. And we sold 4,500 season tickets, which for a team that finished mid-table and for the majority of last season looked like we were fighting relegation, you can't really argue with that. So yeah, I think it's going to be bouncing. Tranmere are always our bogey side, pretty much. We seem to never turn up, and last season kind of epitomised what happens whenever we play Tranmere. We can do whatever we want, but usually you've got someone there that seems to have our number. Like James Vaughan just was horrible, so I was happy to see him retire in the nicest possible way. But then you've just signed Glatzel from Liverpool, which he's highly rated, and he's someone that's going to be keeping I want to keep an eye on, because he shouldn't really be at League Two level from what I've seen and heard about him. But injuries seem to have stopped that.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you, actually. That was one of the questions I had in mind. Is there anyone, you've mentioned Glatzel, is there anyone in the squad in particular that you look at our team and think, he could cause us problems? Or
I think Jay Spearing, because last season at your place, you absolutely tore us apart. But Jay Spearing's just the sort of player that he's another one that's probably too good for this level. But he's also an old-fashioned. He's not scared to put his foot in. He dictates the play by the fact that his attitude is spot on.
Yeah.
So he's one to watch, very much so. And as I say, Glatzel, he could hit the ground running, or you never know. But he's someone that should cause this league problems.
I mean, we love a Jay Spearing tackle at this place. It always gets the crowd going. I do agree. I think his attitude is unbelievable, and he's a leader, isn't he? And Glatzel, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him, because what I've seen so far, he's an exciting player to watch, and he's the type of player that can get you out your seat, because he's so skillful and tricky. And I do agree, like he could be playing levels above, and maybe he will. We don't know. In terms of like your team, who do you think could cause us problems? Who should I be looking out for?
Dan Jones, who played left wing back on Saturday and then left to the back three. His throw-in is ridiculous. You probably saw it last season. He was at Harrogate last season.
He causes problems.
So his throw-in definitely. And then David Worrell is just Dave Worrell. He's assisted nearly 23 goals in the past 2 seasons, which is, I think, the second highest behind Callum Guy and just above Kev De Bruyne. So can't really argue with that sort of stats. But he's been playing as a right wing back so far this season, so a little deeper. So some of our fans are a bit unhappy about that, because he's not getting involved as much as he normally would.
Yeah.
But he's always dangerous. And then captain Tom Conlon as well. He's left-footed, so everything just looks a bit nicer.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting game. Like you said, sometimes we can be your bogey side, but I don't know. I feel like anything can happen on the day, and especially like you say, both sets of teams have got a load of new players. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm not, I'd love to be able to say I think we'll comfortably win, but I don't know. I think like anything can happen. What's your prediction? Do you have like any idea the way it might go?
If we play like we did against Northampton, I think you'll comfortably beat us, because whilst it was organised, there wasn't much going forward. There was no real excitement.
Yeah.
We played, like I say, we played Sunderland Tuesday night. We started on top. We had a couple of decent chances, but didn't put them away. And then they went 2 up. So we then changed from a 3-5-2 to a 4-4-2, and it looked a lot more exciting. Now, fans will see the last 20 minutes, half an hour of the Sunderland game where we went 4-4-2 and want to start that way. But we all know that just because it finishes well doesn't mean it's going to start well. So I'd expect to start 3 at the back still.
Yeah.
And the pitch has been widened again. I'm sure you'll remember that it's quite a big pitch anyway, but it's been widened again because of the wing back formation that he wants to play. He wants to use the width. So we do like to try a crossfield ball.
Right.
So that's something to look out for. But yeah, I think it's hard because so early on in the season, you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low on a couple of performances. So as you say, anything can happen, but as long as the effort's there and we're in the game, I don't think you can ask much more at the minute.
No. And how much do you think you'll have a bit of an advantage knowing that it's at your place and you've got, like I say, your home fans back? For some people, this will be probably the first game back for a good while. Do you think that'll have a good effect on these players?
I think so, because when pretty much everyone will say the same, but when our fans are good, they're really good. Yeah. It's just that if things go bad, things turn sour quite quickly. So as long as in the first 5 minutes we haven't conceded a goal, then it should all be rosy.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens on Saturday, but I mean, I do hope the best team wins, and I do hope we are the best team. But thank you very much for speaking to me. I mean, I spoke to a lot of people on Twitter trying to find somebody to come on, and a lot of people pointed me to you. So, I mean, you must have a good amount of people like listening to you and what you do. So, yeah, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. And if you need anyone in the future, just give us a shout.
Yeah, no worries. Is there anything that you want to say, or you know what I mean, anything that you want to mention before we leave?
No, I just think like you say, I just hope that it's a good game, and that because I believe that you've sold nearly 2,000 tickets.
Yeah,
from what we've heard. So just hopefully everyone enjoys it, and then if anyone's in town and fancies a nice pint, our sponsor's Johnny's Bars just in town, so hit that up.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much. We are taking quite a few down there, so hopefully it will be a really good day. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Jordan. Have a good day.
Now let's have a look at some behind-the-scenes footage from Tuesday night's game at Oldham, which saw Elliot Nevitt score his first professional goal. What a moment that was.
each side. On our way back down, big windmill, side step in between, nice and high.
Looking ahead now to Saturday's game, we went to the campus to see how the lads are preparing for the match.
Rob, how are we, sir?
Hello, my man.
Got myself some AirPods on the bus the other day.
Hey, man.
Hello. What are you laughing?
How you doing? Morning.
Two on each side, bringing it in.
Just take that.
Little walk back.
Yep. Go down. Yes. Yes, Ross. Solid. Yes, man. Yep. Hand shot. Yep. Go on.
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah. Gonna go and get it off Kieran. If I'm Clark, he'd now come in as one of the 10s. Round the corner, set beans, into the end man, reset it. Simple. Both balls are going at the same time. You've got to think where the spaces are. Okay? A little bit of chaos in there, a little bit of thinking.
Ball.
Don't stand still on the end.
Move and find the space.
Go, Mia, go. Good. Play it, love it. Just turn. Yes, quicker and sharper. So concentrate on your movement. Yes, Clarky to receive. And then Mike bounce around the corner. Set, and I'm going to fire it through the lines.
Tuesday. Yes. Well, let's move. Good.
Yes.
You aware, Joe? Time. Finish. What a fool. First time, yes. First time. Jail. Time. Man on. Get around them. Just no shots. Get there. Get him.
Looks in.
Fuck off.
Brilliant, Manny. Play on, Manny. Brilliant, Manny. Great goal.
It was great to have away fans back in the ground, and thank you to everyone that's travelled. Next up, we have a Q&A with Manny Dizarue.
Manny, thanks for sitting down for us today and answering the fans' questions. The first one here is from Scott. He asks, what is your favourite flavour of crisps?
I probably have to say Walker's cheese and onion, I think. Just simple.
Connor asks, if you had a bowl of gravy with a spoon, would it constitute as a soup?
I don't think it would, no.
Pineapple on pizza, James asks yes or no.
Nah, no chance.
Josh asks, who was your footballing hero when he was younger?
Probably R9 when he was at Inter Milan and obviously Real Madrid and things like that. Unbelievable player.
Next one, Will asks, who has the worst fashion sense in the team?
I don't think I can answer that. I think everyone's pretty safe, to be fair. There's no one that's really quite mad.
Jamie asks, what's the best goal you ever scored in your opinion?
In my opinion, probably not the best goal, but I think the one at Wembley probably my best goal. For just the occasion and everything, for me, that's probably my best goal, I think.
Ben asks, what's your favourite type of bread?
Bagels.
Scott asks, growing up and throughout your career so far, who have you looked up to and why? Apart from Ronaldo.
Who have I looked up to? Tough question, that, you know. Someone who I've really liked a lot is Emmanuel Adebayor. He's probably been one of my favourite players. The likes of Didier Drogba, Thierry Henry, those type of players I looked up to a lot and thought, like, that's the reason why I want to be a striker, because, you know, the way they played the game was such a joy to watch.
Never thought about recreating his celebration against Arsenal.
Probably not, no.
Dan asks, your best career moment?
Probably promotion with Salford.
Callum asks, who's your best mate on the campus?
Probably Josh Cogley. Similar age, similar interest, to be fair. He's probably the best mate at the minute.
Probably the most asked one. Paul asks, how do you pronounce your surname?
It's Dizarue.
Dizarue.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, Ryan asks, what interested you most about joining Tranmere?
Just the fans and the size of the club. I've heard a lot about it beforehand and seen a lot about it. I actually followed a lot of the games last year as well, like to see how they were doing, because obviously they were near the top as well and challenging for promotion. So just that aspect of the ambition and the likes of the players that are here now and what we're trying to fight for this season really interested me.
I said finally, but there is actually one more. Kev asks, do you reckon fish burp?
I think so. Probably.
In the water, it'd be probably quite hard, but got to come out tomorrow, hasn't
it? Yeah.
Hopefully that's helped you to get to know your number 9 a little bit better. And finally on today's show, we get the pre-match thoughts of Mickey Mellon and Josh Dakers-Cogley.
Well, I think it's been like that for a wee while now. I think there has been a bigger turnover in players. Contracts are only for a year to maximum 2 years now. I think that the modern day manager working at these levels understands that and knows the way to work to try and do that. So you very, very quickly got to get a new group of players together and find ways of finding out about what we need to work harder on, or what we're already good at, or what we need to get better at, or how we're going to play. So you've got to be better at designing training sessions, getting into games and being able to recognise what we need to do in order to try and become a team.
And another Saturday, Tuesday to come. What are you hoping that the players can learn for Saturday? What are you hoping to get from that game?
We're just trying to build on the time. We do things here as, if I bring you here to the football club, I quite clearly tell them that you've been brought here to play first team football. So I think we would have about 15, 16 what we would class game ready first team players at the minute, and the rest is made up of young lads who will build towards that. So what I'll do with them is I'll use them having a look at how we want to play and looking at energy levels and that. We changed a few during the week, and both the ones that we chose to come in during the week with fresh legs scored. So it shows you the value of being able to rely on your squad, and it also keeps the group together and everybody involved. So we will go into Saturday's game with that group, and we will hopefully pick the right personnel to play in a certain way. But we will make a few changes again. We will continue to do that without being reckless. But my style of management now would be one that I would try and keep the group all inclusive and not try and go with the same team every week anymore. I don't think that works. Both scientifically will tell you that now energy levels.
Josh, really good to talk to you. Thank you for your time. First of all, how are you finding things at Tranmere after arriving in the summer?
I'm really enjoying it. It's been, I wouldn't say different to what I expected, but it's in a good way. The work, even from pre-season to the start of the season, we've got a great bunch of lads, and I think we'll only move forward, especially with this manager, these players, and obviously we all know we're trying to get promotion, so that's the aim.
How are you finding from playing in the Championship to now playing in League Two? How are you finding the difference?
It's very marginal. It's very marginal, the difference. There's obviously different kind of tactical things. Obviously, quality of the players not much different at all. You've still got to be, if you want to be the best player in this league, you've still got to be trying to do everything properly, be switched on, make the right decisions. Work hard is obviously a given for all leagues. So there's not much difference. It's very competitive, just like the Championship was. So yeah, it suits me well.
Nice to hear that the lads are raring to go for Saturday. Don't forget, if you subscribe to our YouTube memberships, you get early access to this show, plus loads more content. Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for on today's episode of the Prenton Preview, but we can't wait to see you all in Port Vale on Saturday. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.
One this time. McCann! Yes! 1-0 to Tranmere!